Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing Harry's court case and what this means, what is going on, because there is a lot of information coming out in the mainstream media. We're going to get to the truth of what is going on, not the clickbait, not the gossip. So if you are interested in the truth in regards to Harry and Meghan, then this could be the channel for you. Please don't forget to subscribe so you do not miss future uploads, and like the video because it does tell YouTube that I am a channel worth keeping. So as you're still here, welcome. Go grab your drink of choice, whatever that may be, and sit back and relax as we get into some truth, some tea, and a little bit of therapeutic knowledge. Hey everyone. So yeah, there's been a lot. I am really enjoying, weirdly, being back on X. It's always going to be Twitter to me, but X anyway. And I think the one thing I am seeing is the passion that people have. Understand, like all of you, when I see something salacious in regards to Harry and Meghan, there is this kind of, yes, finally something's being exposed. And then very disheartening when I then go and look for the source, go and look for research, and there's nothing. So it just tells me this is just tabloid gossip. There's not really anything in it. So I was actually going to wonder whether you guys would actually want me to do like a once a month getting to the truth, like what is real, what is not, because I do see a lot, and I see a lot of people that believe what is being said and it's not actually true. So this is what I want to focus on in this particular video. So the first part, I'm going to be talking about Harry, and then the second part, if it hasn't gone on too long, I'm going to be discussing Meghan and what is coming out about her. So Harry's court case, we know that's coming up. There's a lot of information that is coming out in regards to also Invictus. So we'll be getting into that next week because there's a lot that I want to go through to find the truth of what's really going on. But for now, I'm going to be talking about Harry's court case and what seems to be coming out with regards to that. So I have my trusty notes because I like to make sure with my menopausal brain that I get this right. So Harry's court case, the High Court battle against UK tabloids. So Prince Harry is about to testify in a major privacy lawsuit in London's High Court against Associated Newspaper Limited, publisher of the Dully Mail. The Dull Mail, maybe. The Daily Mail. The case alleges unlawful information gathering by the publisher over decades, claims A&L denies. This is his final active lawsuit for now, because we know Harry seems to love a lawsuit against the UK tabloids and has attracted big names like Elton John and Jude Law as witnesses. Now, I think if we remember back, there was something that came out. Was it in his book or something? And I do wonder, because I think, didn't it come out that Catherine and William had been hacked or something like over 100 times? It was a lot. It was a lot. And I think it's come out that with Harry, it was like something like 8 or 9. I will put the number up here. I will find the information and put the number up here because this is just occurring to me as I'm talking into the camera. And don't get me wrong, being hacked once is bad enough. So I'm not saying that's okay, because it's absolutely not. But it wasn't connected to this meeting with Elton John. Like they met with Elton John, and this kind of then got sort of concocted of this going up against the press. And I wonder if they utilized Harry because at the time, obviously, he was a bit more respected at the time. So I wonder if that was something to do with it, because I need to look into that a little bit more, but I know there was something there. But anyway, so obviously this does matter because obviously if it didn't, it wouldn't be where we are now. So we know that Harry's testimony in person is scheduled this month. The trial covers long-running claims against press intrusion, which has been central to their break with the UK media ecosystem. Legal costs are huge, estimated at £40 million, adding financial and reputational stakes. Now, related to what I've just said, Harry's return to the UK for this trial has sparked controversy because he has repeatedly raised concerns about his safety and armed force protection, which he lost a bid to reinstate. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit as well. So he lost a bid to reinstate automatic taxpayer funded protection, but a new threat assessment is now being reviewed, and there's talk it could change how future visits are handled. Now we know, so just breaking into this briefly, now we know Shabana Mahmood was instrumental in allowing this to take place, to put the this forward to Ravik. Now I'm seeing a lot of things coming out on social media, almost as if people think that she is instrumental in the outcome. She's not. In a sense, all she's done is passed on Harry's wishes. It's, yes, she could have stopped it, but she didn't. But that's really all she's done. Harry's basically gone to her, and obviously there is, which I'm going to be talking about in the next video, with the connection between her and Birmingham and Invictus, blah, blah, blah. But so I think that there was some kind of back scratching there. But anyway, so she's passed on this to Ravik, saying that she wants a new threat assessment. And obviously so she's allowed that to go ahead. However, Ravik has already said, no, we are not reinstating his tax-funded security. So do I feel that the outcome is going to be any different? No, because the threat assessment hasn't changed. Regardless of Harry putting in this fake stalker, nothing else has changed. And also they're going to look into account of the fact, the amount of times that Harry has come over here. And he's come over here at times when he doesn't need to. So yes, he may be having to come over this particular time because obviously he's going to be appearing in court. But there are other times he has not needed to appear in court. He has not needed to even be over here. He has been seen knocking on people's doors, that famous footage on someone's Ring doorbell where he's there knocking on strangers' doors with no security in sight. So we know that this is possibly what Ravik will be looking at, regardless of, like I say, his fake stalker. So yeah, so for anyone that thinks that she's going to be instrumental in the outcome, she's not. And for anyone that also thinks that the king is going to be instrumental in the outcome, he's not. It's a committee, it's 10 people. Yes, there are 3 members, senior members of the royal family that are on that committee, but they are all equal. All of the 10 people on that committee are equal in the decision. It's not just one person. It's not the king. It's that's what it is. So I don't see this being any different because there are senior royals who do not have tax funded security and that are out and about. So, there we go. Anyway, so there's been significant reporting on internal royal family manoeuvring, especially efforts described as some outlets as attempting to thwart relations between Harry, Meghan and the working royals. This includes reported strategic hiring by William and Catherine and the possibility of Meghan returning to the UK, which is, again, something I'm going to be getting to next week. But apparently only if security arrangements and title issues are resolved. Now, this is something that I found interesting because this was something when I was researching this is what was being said when I researched it, is that, but only if security arrangements, which we know about, and title issues are resolved. Now, what's the titles issue? So this makes me wonder if something is going on behind the scenes, because we've all been saying that we believe the titles are going. We've all been saying that we believe they're possibly going to go when William becomes king. But I wonder if there has been some chatter behind the scenes within the royal family, these sort of discussions that happen, which has been about discussing the titles. And I wonder if there has been some pushback with regards to Harry and Meghan, in regards to these, you know, then we know they're not going to sit quietly about this. So I'm wondering if there has been something going on behind the scenes, because that was interesting that was put in when I was researching about the titles. I didn't ask for that. This is what come out in regards to the information. So something tells me this is something going on. And it says this isn't gossip. It's tied to actual discussions about their UK visits, titles and family dynamics. So, and the fact that it's mentioned within William and Catherine hiring this person. So I do think, given this, that them hiring is potentially going to be looking at what can potentially happen when their titles go. When all of this stuff starts shifting around Harry and Meghan, what is going to be the pushback from her fan base? Because we know how vicious they are, the mainstream media, looking at every outcome to see what could then, you know, what could be being said and how can we navigate that. Forewarned? No. Forewarned is forearmed. That's what I meant to say, which is what I think could be potentially happening here. So another factual point in the wider media reaction to Harry and Meghan's public roles, for example, is some outlets characterise coverage of their projects, legal battles and lifestyle choices in critical terms. And then, of course, then Meghan has publicly pushed back against claims she's demanding special treatment in the UK, which is what I'm going to be getting to in a minute in regards to her. So you've got the fact. So what's not rumour but controversial is the lawsuits and legal proceedings within the High Court cases are reported, and they're reported by Reuters and news organisations. So when you are looking at something that comes in, so that when there is a story in regards to, well, anyone, but especially when we talk about Harry and Meghan, which is what I often say to you guys, is always look for the primary source. If if it is a legitimate story, there is something that is really there, then it usually comes from Reuters, a credible source like the Times. It says a palace source generally. It's a statement from the palace, statement from the government, etc. If people are getting their source from Reddit, I'm not saying that there's still not possibly an element of truth, because somebody could know something, but I think it's always take it with a pinch of salt, because unfortunately, as much as I want to see the downfall of Harry and Meghan, and I do, given their behaviour, I do want to stick to the truth, because there is too much gossip, too much noise, and it's really difficult then for people like myself that want to stick to the truth. And it's possibly why my channel doesn't grow as much as what other channels do, because I don't regurgitate what's in what's in the media stratosphere. I don't do gossip. Yes, I might be a bit, my personality comes through, but generally I try to get to the truth and stuff. And I give you that sort of psychology, sort of therapeutic part of it as well. So yeah. So if you then look at, so on the surface, you've got Harry fighting tabloids, fighting somebody. And then you've got Meghan denying a rebuttal of her UK demands. And like I say, and I'm going to get that in a minute. So with Harry, yes, he's suing the UK tabloids over unlawful information gathering. Yes, he's personally testifying. That is true. And this is the final one as of this moment. So in the way that Harry portrays this, it's like he doesn't just want justice. He wants vindication. When you look at his past behavior, he sees he's morally right. He absolutely struggles with criticism. And he frames that then as almost like him going up against a corrupt system, which is what we have seen in his behavior. Now, my take on this from the therapeutic side is that Harry has never been told no. In my opinion, most of his life, he has never been told no. I think his mum probably was a little bit tougher with him, but generally speaking, he's never been told no. So I think, unfortunately, after Harry lost his mother, the biggest mistake the family, I believe, made was allowing his behaviour and making excuses for it. We saw there was lots of footage coming out of Harry acting out, and everyone was kind of like, oh, he's the lovable rogue prince, etc. And they were making excuses for it. And Harry got used to getting away with things. He got used to throwing his weight around, using himself as in the royal family as getting what he wants when he wants. And they then shoved him into things to try and put him on the right track, including in the military, and we know how that went. So I think Harry has never learned to be criticised without there being someone either shoving it to one side, not talking about it, enabling or making excuses for him or apologising for him. So he's never taken accountability for anything. And so I think this is what we're seeing here, is that Harry, I mean, yes, hacking, wrong, but a lot of this is also about Harry being criticised. He hates it, which is why I have always said he wants to censor the media. He wants to censor social media because he utilises the press. It's not about the press. It's about the fact that he doesn't like criticism. He doesn't want to be called out for the things that he does, the things that he says. So he wants there to be this sort of blanket across, like a little boo-boo blanket of like, there, Harry, we're not going to say anything bad about you. And anytime somebody does, he acts out. And this is the result of this. You know, when we look at him constantly going back for the security, etc., it's because he's being told no. And he's like, no, I don't want to be told no. I truly do believe that when he set this court case up, he possibly believed, and I'm wondering if some of the celebrities thought this too, that because he put his name behind it, they would all cower, in the Daily Mail, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, we're being sued by Prince Harry. Well, let's just settle out of court. But they haven't. They fought back. And now we've had things coming out with the key witness saying that it was forged, his signature was forged, the statement's all forged. Yes, I've seen people saying that he's gone into hiding, or he's left the country, he's fled the country. That's not true. He has stepped back, but he hasn't fled the country. So, but it is true, him coming out and saying that this was forged. But, and then obviously then we've got witness tampering, we've got paid for things, and that's coming out. So there's lots of things that are coming out that are really not looking good for this court case. If you're looking at also from another angle, is I think Harry is so struggling for relevance. He is so struggling. He's so used to having the world stage that suddenly, and having people adore him, that suddenly he hasn't got that anymore. So I think that he's found this new role of, I'm going up against these big institutions. I'm taking on the big Daily Mail. I'm taking on the royal family, and it's giving him a stage, albeit that it's not giving him a very good one, because a lot of things are also coming out. But again, this is not what he's used to. He's so used to having everything buffered, having everything made okay, and he hasn't got that anymore. He hasn't got the protection of the royal family. So he's now seeing what consequences look like. And the fact that the court have basically said, well, we're not carrying down, we are going to fight. Sorry, not the court, the Daily Mail have said, we're fighting back. No, we're not accepting this. And I don't think he was prepared for that. So unfortunately, he's got to go ahead with this now, because he's stubborn, and this is what he's now doing. Now, what the outcome will be, I don't know, but it's certainly not looking good when you have your key witness that's saying this is forged, and then you have witness tampering and pressure being put on people by Harry's lawyers. This is not looking good. And if this doesn't go in his favour, he's going to have to pay back a lot of money. So yeah, I don't know, but let me know what you think in the comments. So before I get into the second part, which is Meghan, I just want to also add, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate the support. Liking the video really does help me on YouTube. Subscribing also tells YouTube that I'm a channel worth keeping. If you can hype, if the option is there, because sometimes for some reason YouTube doesn't like to put it in the videos, don't know why. Please check your subscription also if you are, because also YouTube likes to unsubscribe from people from my channel. Drop a comment as well, because that also helps the algorithm. If you want to help in other ways, you can become a member, you can super chat, and you can treat me to a coffee as well if you want to. But those things are not, you don't have to do those things. They are optional extras if you want to support my channel. Obviously, there's links below of all the other platforms I'm on. Come and join me over on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, even if you want to come and join the Facebook page over there, where you get lots of different things as well. Want to write to me? I've got an email address, and I also have a PO box. Please don't forget that if you like letter writing, not like Meghan, then you can write to me. You can send me a postcard from wherever you are in the world. I always love to hear from you, and I keep everything that I receive. I read those and remember how much you guys get from me doing these videos. Honestly, it really does mean a lot to me. And please don't forget, if you want to join me in the Zoom chat that I'm going to be setting up, if you want to come and have your say about Harry and Meghan, please email me. But if you want to come and have your say, come, because we're not going to be on camera. Like I say, it's just going to be us, like a podcast, having a chat. So yeah, right, yeah, back to part 2. So Meghan, so we have had Meghan coming out with a public denial. Now, this isn't gossip, this isn't hearsay. She actually has come out with a rebuttal. Now, the rebuttal is against the fact that apparently she was stating that for her to come to the UK, she was making all of these demands, like she needed 4 floors of a hotel, that she needed round-the-clock security, staff were not meant to look at her. They were supposed to address her as, HRH or whatever it is. And so she has come out and said, that's not true. Now, the one thing I have noticed with Meghan is, because what I have seen on social media where some have said, well, if she's coming out and denying that, why hasn't she come out and denied the pregnancy stories and the yacht girl stories and some of the other things that are circulating about her? And I think the key reason is this, because those things have stayed on social media. And when you have, the minute the mainstream media start to circulate something, she does put out a rebuttal. Now, the Diana video was one of the other ones. When the Diana video started circulating and people were starting to critique her on social media, nothing was said. But the minute the mainstream media picked up on it and started then running with some stories, she jumped in straight away with a rebuttal and then flipped it and tried to gaslight all of us by stating, this is sick and disgusting that people are making this association with, my husband's late mother. I had no idea where I was filming. I was just filming. Now, 2 things. One, like I say, the fact that she does that as soon as it gets put into the circle, the stratosphere of the mainstream media, tells us that is absolutely damage control. That is her absolutely worrying about her reputation. She does not want this being circulated anymore. So then the rebuttal becomes the news. The rebuttal, this hasn't happened, then becomes the news, and it gets shut down. All the time it's on social media, it's kind of ignored by the mainstream media most of the time. But the minute she then does a rebuttal to something that's on social media, that then becomes the news. And so then if the original story is not on social media, it then creates the mainstream media start going, well, why is she, there's this rebuttal to social media stuff. What's kind of going on? And it gives an opening, because that at the moment, I think the mainstream media are scared of going up against Harry and Meghan. Why? I don't know, but it's obviously, I guess, because they're still connected to the royal family. But the minute she opens that door, they can then come in. All the time it stays on social media, they're not touching it. So that's why I truly do believe she hasn't come out and said anything about these rumours, is because it stayed on because the minute it would start circulating on mainstream media, she would come out and say something. So this to me tells us, so she's basically said, so she's come out with this rebuttal, when most people and most celebrities, if there's anything said about them, they ignore it. They don't fuel it. That is one of the things that you are told generally is ignore it. But like Harry, she cannot handle any public criticism about her on the mainstream media. So she has to come out and say something. So when she denies something immediately, it suggests that she sees reputational damage that could occur. And that would risk the narrative that whatever she's putting out there about herself, that it's going to counteract that, and she doesn't want it. And when you look at the patterns from the past, it's when stories hit too close to reality, like the staff bullying claims, palace tensions. So the staff bullying claims were rebutted, palace tensions denied, diva reputation reframed as I'm a strong woman. So every time I believe there is some truth to it, she puts out a rebuttal the minute it hits mainstream media. And that's the difference. If it was pure nonsense, if this story of her making demands wasn't true, why respond at all? Because there's been things said about her before and she's not said anything. This tells you, I think, that there is some truth to this. And given her past behaviour of being announced as she enters the room, like say bullying claims, etc., is this a far stretch? No, it isn't. It isn't. But in all fairness, what do people expect? They've allowed this woman to believe that she's got some level of power. By marrying into the royal family, she has used that role to bully, to dictate, to demand, to act as if she's above everybody else. So what do they expect? That she's suddenly going to stop doing that? This should have been shut down the minute it started, the minute it was coming out that she was using her connection to the royal family, her role in the family to bully people, to act like a diva. This should have been shut down immediately, but it wasn't. I mean, look at the fact that the way the bullying thing was handled. It's been literally swept under the rug. Why? To protect her, possibly to protect the people that made the claim in the first place, maybe. But there's been no consequences. They've had things happen that have really affected their mental health. And what consequences Meghan had? None. So what do they expect? When you allow a narcissist or a personality like Meghan to carry on, to basically have the message of, I can do what I want, say what I want, and nobody can touch me, that is going to get worse. And it has. So, yeah. Meghan likes to, both Harry and Meghan like to control the image. That is one of the things that they both are aligning in, is this controlling the mainstream media, controlling social media, censorship, because they have to curate an image that they want. And when people go against that, they don't like it. So when something threatens her brand, she does a rebuttal. only if it enters into the, like, say, the mainstream media. So you have Harry tends to go to court. So when Harry gets upset about something, he threatens to sue, albeit Meghan kind of does as well. But then she responds and retaliates in the press because that's what she does. She uses the press for pretty much everything. So in a sense, the bottom line here is they don't fight battles, not in the real sense, not where you and I would think this is something worth fighting for. They fight narratives. They fight anything negative that is said about them. But the problem there is that sometimes the harder you fight the story, the more it reveals about you. So let me know what you think in the comments. Drop below what you think about all of this. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Please support by subscribing if you haven't already. Don't forget to go across and support Bite-Size Tea, because over there, you're going to get more bullet point videos on factual events. Over there, you're going to get bullet points, truth, facts, none of the waffle. So if you just want that, if you haven't got time for all of this, then go across and support that there. And I will be doing other subjects. It's not just about Harry and Meghan. I've got to do a video on Brooklyn and Nicola Peltz and the Beckhams. So that is going to be coming up as well. If you want a long form video about that, because I do see a lot of comparisons with Harry and Meghan, then drop it in the comments. If you want me to do a long form video on all of that drama, then let me know, and I could think about maybe doing that for next week. But yeah, that's it from me for the rest of this week. Have a great weekend, whatever you are doing, and I will see you next week. And as you know, as always, I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Take care. Bye-bye. Mwah.